And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, where we get your podcasts, and on over 30 radio stations worldwide. And on this weekend show, Melinda and I are going to be recording it here in just a little bit. We're going to be talking, of course, the Taylor Swift Eras movie that's coming out this weekend. You know, a lot of people are checking that out because that's already got $100 million in the bank, and the movie hasn't even come out. Well, actually, it did get released to theaters on Wednesday a little early. So, how much money will it make? We'll talk about that, plus some interesting behind the scenes Marvel and DC news. And PlayStation has a slim model coming to you later this year. So we'll talk about that, plus a Disney price hike again and more right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. Also, as well, Inside Sports Fantasy Football. The guy to my, well, he's actually on my left or right as you see it, but my left. He was on the show along with Chris Ardieri from the Domination Sports Nation. We discuss NFL Week 6, talk about our fantasy football picks, what to do with all the injuries that you probably incurred on your team, and also as well some of the highlights and lowlights so far of this NFL season, plus our woof 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 picks at the doghouse for the underdogs for this week. Go ahead and check it out today, Inside Sports Fantasy Football. It's a really good listen. I highly recommend it, or catch it today on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel on YouTube. Plus also as well, of course, our good friend, Mr. Joe Soro. Who knows where he is? Is he in the Midwest? Is he back home? Is he on planet Earth? We don't even know. So hopefully we'll find out here sooner rather than later. But you can always go ahead and check him out at LakersBall.com. It's Knox1947. And also as well, you can go ahead and check out his company, Simblades. Simblades with a Y.com. Our good friends also as well, Laker Tom, the #1 Lakers blogger that's out there, and Jamie Sweet. I have just confirmed with Jamie, the music superstar himself, who will be performing in the Southern California area tomorrow. Please go ahead and check out his page, his Facebook page, for details, because he's got a great performance tomorrow. So he won't be on the Lakers postgame show, unfortunately, because he's busy doing his thing. But on Saturday, he'll be doing his thing with us Saturday at 3 p.m. along with Laker Tom. Those guys you can check out today, of course, at Lakerholics.com. Also, of course, our good friends of the show, Empire Jeff TV, Lakers in 5, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. I get all the time. I see these guys in the chat. Jeff has joined us. I keep asking Daniel if he'll go ahead and do some highlights for us at Laker games, but hey, I'm still happy that he's here. Still happy that Lakers in 5 stops by. Plus also John McCalion, who's frequented the show as well. He is 65 pounds down and 65 to go on his drive towards losing 130 pounds. You can see his quest today on YouTube at the John McCalion channel. And speaking of YouTube, it's right there, right below Sean. People ask me, are you going to change the actual thumbnail right there? I can't find a good picture of Sean, and for me, it'd be something like this. So I'm not sure I would like that either. Will it get people in to go ahead and subscribe? I think the goofy picture for Joe with the beady eyes might still stay there for a little while. So if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead. It's okay. He won't bite. Go ahead and click on that today to subscribe on YouTube to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break podcast. Well, 3 games in on the exhibition season. It's flying by. We're already halfway done with the exhibition season already. And the Lakers, 2-1, heading into tomorrow night's matchup against the Golden State Warriors. We don't know yet who the lineups will be or who will be out as far as that game's concerned. Maybe LeBron will be in. I'm thinking a little bit more about our conversation. Thinking maybe LeBron might do Friday, Sunday, and then, like as Magic Man said, just take the day off in Palm Springs and just relax by the pool in Palm Springs and maybe not play there in the final game of this exhibition season. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But the coaches, they're starting to already concentrate on who they want to have in their rotation, especially Darvin Ham, come the beginning of the season. So that's what we're talking about today mainly is who will be in the Lakers rotation when opening night happens, in our opinion, as of now, based off the 3 exhibition games. And here today to talk about that, plus also a little bit of talk on Max Christie. We'll clarify that for anyone out there who might have been confused because Rodell, we did straighten it out for Rodell. We went ahead and let him know that it was a clarification that was made already on that show. So we'll go ahead and clarify it again. Plus also, so ESPN dropped its top 100 players. Where are LeBron and AD, and do we like where LeBron and AD are at? That's on the show as well. But the guys here that I want to hear about, you called him the GOAT on last night's show. He's the madman from Toronto. He did get out of Toronto traffic to go ahead and talk to me about some Lakers rotations, Max Christie and AD and LeBron. It is a good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check him out whenever he's here at the Lakers Fast Break. It is the Magic Man, Sean Grice. Got the hoodie there going on, Lakers purple and gold. How's it going, my friend? I know some people were irritated with the choice of colors on the Lakers sidelines yesterday with Jared Vanderbilt and Anthony Davis. I know we got some feedback and comments on that, on the green that was worn by Jared Vanderbilt and the green hat by AD. Be that as it may, my friend, the rotation is starting to formulate. I know Max Christie, we're going to go ahead and talk about him first because we need to clarify a little bit again. He got the most minutes last night out of everyone. And I think it's obvious why, because he is right now on the cut line whether or not he is going to be in the rotation to start the season or be one of the first men out of the rotation unless something happens, fouls or injury wise therein. Your thoughts first off on Max Christie. To clarify again, you said specifically after you corrected yourself because it first sounded like, and I got confused, that he belongs in the G League. No, we all know he's a part of the Lakers team going forward. We get that. The way he's been playing lately, he's been playing like he's been still thinking that he's in the G League. So that's what you were trying to say. That's what you were trying to clarify, I do believe, from my heart. And I know that now that we can go ahead and finish this off, we can go ahead and talk about the Lakers rotation.
Yeah, no, Gerald, I'm glad. I'm glad it can be just smoothed out here because I know you heard it on the edit as well. I said, and I agree with Gerald that Max Christie is going to be a part of the Lakers
Roster.
four,
Yeah. Yeah.
14-man roster.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's just the regression definitely and
He's
definitely
playing as if
shows
he's
he's
still in the
still
G
in the G
League.
League.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what you were
yeah,
saying. Oh,
yes. And
yeah.
this happens a lot. Like Gerald has seen it with the Vegas Knights as well. There's a really great prospect who plays really well in a certain role, and then they're asked to expand. And then when they're given more opportunities, sometimes it doesn't work out, and you're wondering, has there been some regression here? And they're still playing like they're a level below when they need to be playing at the top shelf level.
And
And
it's not because of effort. I
no,
seriously think it's because he knows whether he's been specifically told by the coaching staff or even in his comments during training camp and media day. That's what he inferred is that he knows he needs to battle for a spot in the rotation. He knows nothing's being given to him. He knows he has to earn it. The problem is when people, a lot of people, not just him, but a lot of people out there in whatever it is life, they have something really important. They press, they get nervous, they get tight, they get clenched up, they want it so bad. Sometimes they just do a little bit too much and forget some of the things that got them there in that position in the first place.
Well, and Gerald, through your professional experience, I'm sure you saw an employee or two who was trying to do their best and was just pressing a little too much, and
I've
you,
managed over 1,000 people in my lifetime, and I'd say, yes, that has happened on more than one occasion, and I'll leave it
abs-
at that. And
absolutely, yeah.
and you
So,
just gotta go as a coaching staff, you gotta put their well, these days you can't put your arm around anyone, but
yeah,
proverbial arm
right.
around someone and just say, "You know what? I know your efforts there. I know you're trying your best. I know you want this. I appreciate so much your attitude in wanting to go ahead and do this. It's just we put you in this position to get there because you showed some great things. Please, we need you to go ahead and just calm down a little bit or just find a place that's comfortable for you to get back to where we know that you can be as an individual or as an employee, or in this case, a player." So that's just basically, I think, what it comes down to. No one's going to say that Max Christie is out of the rotation for good, his season's over, anything like that. We're just talking about the start of the season there, Magic Man. And before we get into the full rotation, what we have, I currently, based on his performance, have a three guard rotation going in that's playing right now considerable minutes. Max Christie, it will get spot minutes at best in this rotation. And basically, for all intents and purposes, could see some DNPs early on until he finds that common ground that he found so well in Summer League. And it just looks like to me that once he finds that je ne sais quoi that he had, so to speak, in the Summer League, he'll be a regular part of the rotation once again. I just think that last night was an exhibition for him, was his chance to be in the spotlight. They gave him more minutes than anybody else, and he didn't quite pass the test. But that doesn't mean he's going to be out of the rotation for good, but just says it's going to be little bit harder for him to crack that rotation on an every game basis until he finds that comfortability level like he did in the summer league again.
Yeah, absolutely, Gerald. That's 100% bang on, and I agree with that. That
He's like number
term.
11 on a
Ye-
10-man rotation or something like that. Just put it
absolute,
in perspective.
absolutely, Gerald's 100% right. I was thinking the same thing. I was just trying to come up with the right term, but Gerald hit the nail on the head. The cut line. He's right there. Gerald's right, and it's thin.
Not
It
he's being cut from the team, just
team
that
just
he's
that
for
cut
the
from the
regular rotation.
rotation.
If
Yes,
Graham has a 9 or 10-man rotation, and let's go into this night right now. Actually, you know what? But one last word on Christie again,
sure.
because Rodell, who emailed us again, LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com, and there was also some clarifications that you made in the YouTube channel with Max Christie. It's the fact that, again, this is not a death knell for Max Christie if he does not do well in the exhibition season. It's the thing is, it's just might be a little bit of a small setback. But then to correlate something similar, of course, Austin Reeves, he did well in his first rookie season, started to show out a little bit at the end of the rookie season, went into training camp, had a summer league, went into training camp, kind of struggled in training camp, started the season not higher on the food chain like he ended up being, took a little bit as far as injuries, bad play, and well, quite frankly, a bad start by the Lakers for them to go ahead and really utilize Austin's strengths. And by the time 2023 kicked in, look what happened. The same thing could very well happen to Max Christie.
Yes, Gerald, I agree 100%. I mean, you buy a ticket, you take the ride. So Rob Palinka and Gerald, we know he's got a real preference and a predilection for Big Ten players. He loves obviously the scouting department that we have, and they obviously situate in on the Big Ten as well. So they did a lot of history on Max Christie and put a lot of money and time into acquiring him. And now they're trying to develop him as well. And it's a roller coaster. And we all understand that. And like Gerald said, that was a great analogy. I mean, you could start something small, big things come from small beginnings. And that's what happened with Austin Reeves. And Max Christie can find that same, like Gerald said, je ne sais quoi, and perforate, just pound his way into that rotation, because I think that's the only way you're going to get into that rotation is if you're consistently doing the things that you do well. And like Gerald was saying, right now there's definitely nine and probably a 10th player right now who just plays their role consistently better than you do right now, and that's just the way that the story goes as of right now. But he's got a lot of upside. We can all see it. It just there needs to be, like Gerald said, that consistent get up and go from the start. There can't be these lulls that he has either offensively or defensively, and we saw that in we saw that in the second preseason game. LeBron wanted him to keep running, right, Gerald, and he let up. He let up about three quarters of the way, and if he had kept going, LeBron would have found him streaking. It's the little things, and you know what? Austin improved on the little things so much he became a starter. We're not going to see that from Max. Max is not going to supplant any of the three guards at this point in time, unless there's a serious progression. However, like Gerald was saying, you can crack into there, but right now it's a three guard rotation for me as well, Gerald.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is the Magic Man, Sean Grice, along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Truly appreciate it. We're talking the Lakers rotation right here on today's show. A little bit, we're going to be talking as well about where LeBron and AD stand on ESPN's Top 100 and whether we're cool with it or not. But right now, it is the Lakers rotation. And Magic Man, the guy who is asking for travel tip advice right here in our chat, the best Lakers chat room that's out there, the Lakers Fast Break on Palm Springs. I was in Palm Springs about 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and it was 115 degrees. So I'm not sure I can give the best advice on it. So I'll just leave it at that.
So
But
Gerald, Palm
yes,
Springs was worse than Vegas.
well, it's not when you're talking about that. Phoenix is actually the hot. If you go between Phoenix, Palm Springs, and Las Vegas, I'd probably say Las Vegas is the cooler in quotations by a degree. Maybe Palm Springs is second. Maybe Phoenix is third. It's
Okay,
like
all right.
that's like 115 to 118 to 120. Does it really matter once it gets above the 110 mark? It's just damn hot, man. It's
Oh
just too
yeah,
damn
man.
hot.
It's like they have their own ecosystem over there. I see the weather reports in California and Vegas because I care about my good friends Gerald and Joe Soro. And oftentimes I see Temecula is like anywhere from 77 to 90, and there's Palm Springs 99 to, like Gerald was saying, 120.
Yeah.
Like it has its own weather in Palm Springs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've driven cars alongside the highway, and you drive along the freeway along there, and you can see the temperatures just go up as you get closer to Palm Springs, like you do here in Las Vegas. But getting back to the Lakers rotation, my friend. So let's start this off with the starting lineup. And I'm going to let you go ahead first as my friend and fellow panelist and fellow host on this show. Your thoughts on the starting lineup as of now that you have formulated in your brain. I know we talked about this on previous episodes. For me, it might have changed, but I'm not sure. You said, well, no one should lose it because of injury or whatnot. I'm not sure everybody, was thinking that the fifth starter had a tenuous hold on the starting lineup in the first place.
No, no, not really. It's razor thin, really razor thin. Right now, okay, if I had a whiteboard, I would say, here we go, gentlemen. Number one, D'Lo. Number two, Reeves. Number three, LeBron. Number four, Vando. Number five, AD. But I put an asterisk on number four because I agree with my fellow co-host, panelist, and friend that eventually Prince should be in the starting lineup. So, Gerald, what I would like to see is D'Lo at the one, Reeves at the two, Prince at the three, LeBron at the four, AD at the five. But I'm not sure Ham will go to that lineup.
I'm a little differing now after what I've seen so far in the past couple games. I understand that Jared Vanderbilt is injured, but and I also understand that Jared Vanderbilt, is hurt, and Jared Vanderbilt is not exactly as good or as utilized best if he's brought off the bench, as I've stated on more than one occasion. And BDA Pink, good to have you back. Long time no see. Hopefully everything is well with you, BDA Pink. Good to have you back. But Magic Man, I think I'm going to have to be honest with you. I think based off the play I've seen and the way how he fits into what Darvin Ham wants to do a little bit more of this season, whether I think it might be the best thing or the worst thing. In this case, I want to see if it stick out and I want to see if it give it a try. And that is, of course, Austin Reeves and D'Angelo in the backcourt, because D'Angelo has played immeasurably great in this exhibition season so far. Let's hope that continues. Austin Reeves has been Austin Reeves. Of course, you got LeBron and AD, and I'm going to put Torian Prince in my starting lineup as of right now. So he has just played well. He seems to fit well. My concerns as I went in, because the fact he had statistically played much more power forward than small forward in recent years, especially with Minnesota. But your conversation with our Minnesota expert, that along with the fact I've seen it, he's been able to be effective enough against enough threes, wings, to stay out on the court alongside these guys. Plus, Mr. 40%, as I'm calling him, is probably going to try and be a better option, a more consistent option, and one's teams had to be more concerned with. So I'm going to say that right now, ahead of Rui, who I think thrives more coming off the bench, but will probably close games, I'm going to probably say Torian Prince is my starter alongside those guys right now. Your thoughts on that, my friend?
Yes, absolutely, Gerald. That's ideally the lineup I would like to see, is that uh, Prince is a starter, because, like Gerald said, he's been competent enough and aggressive enough against certain threes where the lineups have meshed really well. Are They don't have it, unfortunately. But if I've had to guess, I would say our best starting five has been D'Lo, Reeves, Prince, LeBron, and AD. That was the best five I saw on the floor in the second preseason game, Gerald. I'm not sure if you'd agree or not, but the fact of the matter is that that should be the best starting five for the Lakers at this point in time. It gives the
Yeah.
best flexibility when it comes to offense versus defense. Prince is able to stretch the floor. Lanes are open for both LeBron and AD potentially, Gerald. And you'd also have the element that both Prince and D'Lo and Austin Reeves are competent cutters as well. So that also gives a little bit of versatility to tinker with as you proceed with that group, because ultimately I think that's going to be the best starting five that we have.
I just think right now that when it comes to it, Rui Hashimura is best suited as a spark plug off the bench. I really think when it comes to Rui, he will end up closing most games unless Prince or Vanderbilt is needed. Vanderbilt, maybe for defensive purposes, and who's maybe if he's hitting enough shots during that game. And Prince, if he is hot, you obviously got to keep him in there. But I think Rui is the best option to close games. But to start games, I think right now it's got to be Prince. Vando, that's the thing though. As we get into the rotation guys, who makes up the rest of the rotation? At least the rotation, the starting rotation, do they go 9 deep, 10 deep? You have Rui as your main guy coming off the bench. You have Gabe Vincent as your main guard coming off the bench. That's seven right there for you. You would bring in Vanderbilt as, just the fact you just signed him to that nice brand new shiny 4-year contract. So you can't stick him on the bench and not play him unless something really goes wrong there. So you have to go ahead at least get him in as your eighth man. Although I have a feeling because he signed that shiny new 4-year contract, he's probably going to be in the starting lineup come opening day, but I don't think it'd be my best option right now, even though, as I've said before, I'm not doubling back on my words. I still think he is best starting. I just think that right now Torian Prince is playing better than Vando at this point in time. So I still would have Vando now if that's the case, and I put him as the eighth guy coming off the bench. And to end it, I have a 10-man rotation with Jackson Hayes, who has played his way in the rotation. And of course, Christian, I haven't seen a shot I haven't liked. Wood. So your thoughts on that, my friend? A full 10-man rotation. Max Christie is the odd man out as of now because the fact is there's just, and with at this point, it would probably have to be either him or Hayes or Vando not playing as far as in this rotation. Because if Christian Wood isn't given a fair shot consistently to, really get some good minutes in, he's going to let the world know about it. And it's going to be a big headache for everyone involved. What's your thoughts on the rest of the 10-man rotation for you, my friend? I shouted off my 10-man rotation as of now. Let me hear yours as far as your 6 through 9, 6 through 10. And would you play 9 or 10 men as your regular rotation?
Yeah, you know what, Joe? Right now, I go with a strong 10. Um, and again, I think I'm unfortunately right now Max is on the outside looking in, but I agree with Gerald's assessment, and basically I like the rotation you also had as well, Gerald. I think Rui should come off the bench first. That's what happened when Vando was inserted into the starting unit, is that Rui came in. Um, that lineup, it was good. It was good. It was a shot in the arm. However, like Gerald was saying, I think that once again you need to bring in Gabe Vincent, and then I would bring in, like Gerald was saying, bring in Hayes and Wood in like hockey, like the hockey lineup changes. Those two come in together, as Gerald
I would
has
play some
mentioned.
minutes though with Hayes or Wood playing with AD. I would experiment with that a little bit.
Yes, because as Gerald was saying, that's exactly what Ham was doing. The AD played with Hayes. I thought he was more effective with Hayes than he was with Wood at this point, Gerald. But like you said, it's just a matter of more practice time, more live bullets, more understanding each other. I mean, Vincent and Wood tried to establish some chemistry in that second game, and it didn't work out. But that third game yesterday, man, oh man, was that looking really good, especially with their ability to pick and roll there. And both of them, like, here's the thing, both of them can pick and pop. Like Vincent's a pretty underrated pick and pop guard himself, Gerald. And his shot was looking pretty good yesterday. Now it didn't, unfortunately, it didn't coincide with Wood having a vicious night from beyond the arc. But I mean that's also a possibility because Ham has worked in Vincent and Wood, and obviously he likes that combination coming off the bench.
Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to seeing what could be coming out of this in regards to a rotation coming out of the exhibition season. But that's who we have right now in the rotation. I mean, again, Wood, because there was so much brouhaha, he's going to have to be at least a part of the rotation as of now, whether or not you like him or don't like him. He is going to endear you and not endear you in many ways this season. He is going to be a love or hated player. I can clearly see that already because he does a lot of things the Lakers need, and then he does a lot of things the Lakers don't need all at the same time. Jackson Hayes is just solid, but the problem is he doesn't give you a whole lot on either end. He's just been steady on either end and steady enough. But the problem is when push comes to shove, my friend, when you're talking about if Max Christie cracks the rotation and starts to play well, someone will have to go ahead and maybe sit down a bit. I have a feeling, unfortunately, despite the good play on the exhibition season, I think persona number one, as far as being the man that would be sitting back down on the bench, would be Jackson Hayes.
Yes, I would say that would probably be accurate. Limitations offensively, that that's been established. So I think if again, like Gerald was saying, if he gets off to a rocky start in that first couple games, he might get the hook quick because, as we know, with Darvin Ham, it's what Gerald always says: seeing is believing. Last year, Darvin Ham said he wanted to have a consistent five, and Gerald, we ended up having the most different starting lineups in the NBA. I don't want to see a repeat of that. I'd like to see him set his eyes on a five that he's got to shine to. Right now, I'm with Gerald. I think that should include Torian Prince and Sands, Jared Vanderbilt, but something tells me that Ham's that old players coach adage that you're not going to lose your starting spot to an injury. However, like Gerald was saying, Vander's shot doesn't get fixed quick, or at least a little bit. He's getting the hook, and Torian Prince is coming in to start.
Once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. It is the Magic Man Sean Grice, along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Always love our feedback on the best Lakers chat room that's out there, the Lakers Fast Break. Adam Hurley says, as long as the Lakers are winning, I think the Lakers fans will be happy with Wood. I know you're one of the biggest supporters of Christian Wood. You have been before he was even on the team, and I'm going to give you credit for that. Again, with Christian Wood, there are things that even you, Adam, have got to admit might irritate you a little bit in the fact that he is going to be the guy that's going to be counted upon to score a lot. And in doing so, Sean, he is going to score a lot, but he's also going to take a lot of shots. And when it comes to that, as far as maybe there will be some open men from time to time that he should have been better options, he'll try and force the ball up, as we've seen already several times. When you have that mentality, Sean, it's not that he's not being a team player. It's not that he doesn't want to win. It's not that he doesn't want to be, sacrifice for the good of the team, et cetera, et cetera. It's just that that is the player who he is. He is playing for a contract. He is playing for something more than just a title. He's playing for redemption on a higher scale. And in doing so, he seems like he's going to go ahead and take it to every team he can, for good and for bad. If he's over aggressive from time to time, that's just what we're going to get.
Yeah, Gerald, it's like throwing an orange into a vortex with putting the ball into the post with Christian Wood.
Yes.
It's like
The assist to turnover ratio will not be pretty. I'm
it
just going
won't.
to be prepared for
Yeah,
that.
it won't be pretty. I mean, of all the
But
guys,
if he gets you 12 points and 8 rebounds, because I don't expect 17 and 10, if he gets you 12 and 8, I think that everyone should be satisfied with what and an acceptable defense. Not even
yes,
saying good defense. I'm just saying acceptable defense. And I would
yes,
be happy as a lark about Christian Wood.
yes, Gerald, that would be a great signing and a great productive season by Christian. Absolutely. I will say this. Did have a pretty little move there where he had a guard on him, Kevin Herter. Christian recognized he's taller than Kevin, turned him around, curled off of him, and then, as Gerald pointed out, made the right decision, drop step on Sabonis, and it was a nice dunk. Now, uh,
You will
this
see that from time to time, because if he's coming out and playing against second units, there's some second unit players out there that he will see and just have lunch. And that will
oh
be
yeah,
the best times to utilize him if that's the case. As we saw against Brooklyn, where he took the kid he was playing against,
Noah
not
Clowney will
yeah, Noah
have
Clowney. Yeah,
nightmares.
he did yeah, he clowned him all right, that's for sure, Noah Clowney. So there will be times like that where it's great to have Christian Wood, because he will definitely give me the ball down low. I'm going to take this guy to school. That will be great to watch. But then again, it's when he did other times, like when he tried to force it against Three Kings. yesterday, those are the times that are just going to say, you got to take the good with the not so good each and every time with Christian Wood.
Absolutely, absolutely. His is like a roller coaster, up and down, uh, seemingly possession by possession. Although
Mhm.
we're exaggerating, Rodell and others out there, we do that from time to time. But seemingly possession by possession, it's Christian's uh, brilliance versus his inexplicable absent-mindedness, Joe. I think it's just the best way to describe it. He becomes, I think, either disengaged, because to me it's not a matter of being disinterested. He's a
Mhm.
very good basketball player. I don't think it's a matter of boredom. I
And
think it's a
BDA says it right. He is crucial for us to go ahead and step up his game. He'll be getting the rock a lot more in those games that AD misses or LeBron misses, where you're in need of another frontline scorer.
Absolutely, absolutely. And by the way, that's a great point by BDA, and it segues into. I mean, we have to segue into Christie again, Gerald, because if you look at their history of this three guard lineup, we're likely going to see in the rotation that's
Well,
fixed
everyone,
for
Adam, will
now.
get a chance to play because of injuries at some point in time. It's
Oh,
just, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I mean, Cam
That's
Reddish, you'll see some Cam Reddish at some
Reddish.
point in time during the season. I'm rest assured on that. It's just at the
Yes.
start of the season, what is the rotation? If ever provided everybody's healthy when they go into Denver, that's probably who we have at the present time that's going to be playing in the 9 or 10 man rotation. What we talk about now. That's why we have Christie on the outside looking in and Reddish on the outside looking in. That doesn't mean that they're not going to play games during the course of the season. Injuries and just the sheer fact of load management, although you can't call it load management, it will be load management, that those guys will get their opportunities to play. It just depends on how much, and they won't do it right now, as of my opinion, right away.
No, 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 they won't. No, they won't, Gerald. I think that they definitely want to hit the target on a set rotation that they really want to go to, and then build out from that as well, Gerald. They're not looking to go like middle out. They have their core. They need the elements that they brought in to help insulate that core, rather than rather than be um what's the word, an a synergistic effect, because that you have, like we saw with Ham's first practice in training camp. We saw the nine he went with. It was Vando in the starting lineup. Then he went with Vincent, Rui, Prince, and Hayes off the bench. And as Gerald had noted, Christian Wood slides into that 10th spot. And at some point in time, Christie's going to get a chance as well, because Gabe Vincent has an injury history. So does D'Lo. So does Austin Reeves. At some point, somebody's going to sprain a wrist, turn a knee, Gerald. You're going to need Christie, like Gerald was saying, spot minutes. And then you're probably going to ask him, instead of playing 5 minutes a night, Max, you're going to have to play 15, play effective. Or you know what? Cam Reddish is right there, and Cam's hungry too. So yeah, Gerald, everyone's gonna find their time, but it's gonna be incumbent upon a couple of guys, like Gerald was saying, on that cut line. There are three guys kind of on that cut line right now. It's Jared Vanderbilt, Max Christie, and Cam Reddish. Those are the three guys kind of on the cut lines right now, depending whether or not the roles mesh.
Once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. It is the Magic Man Sean Grice, along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching today. Darren says he always appreciates the Magic Man's vocabulary. Mr. Encyclopedia himself, Magic Man Sean Grice. I do want to say, though, when it comes to Max Christie, I mean, I know there's a lot of support out there for him. I like the kid personally. I think he's done, a lot better in the summer. Just obviously he looks so smooth and looks so confident. I don't know where that's gone as far as that's concerned in the first 3 exhibition games, but even if he's out of the rotation now, again, like you said, Magic Man, there will be openings in an 82 game season where if he plays well, he'll not only stay in the rotation, but could make a serious imprint for the season to come.
Yes, absolutely, Gerald. And like you said, I thought Gerald prefaced it just succinctly, perfectly, and simply. It was it was
Oh, don't
pressing.
mind me. I'm just patting myself on the
Yeah,
back.
it's just pressing. It's kind of the looking over his
He's
shoulder, and
forcing the
yeah,
issue.
and he doesn't have to do it at all.
Yeah,
It's
but that's a
forced.
natural human tendency. When
A
you
hundred
know
percent.
something's when you're at your work, Sean, and you know that you got to get whatever it is, as we go back to Office Space, the TPS report in by a certain amount of time, or else Gary Cole's going to do an NCIS upside your head. That's something right there where you got to finish it and get it done. The problem is, what do you do when you handle pressure? How do you handle the pressure? Do you tense up? Do you change what you're doing? Do you change something about you that got you there in the first place? And with most people, or a lot of people, depending on who you talk to, that's often the case. I've had it happen to myself where I noticed myself as I noticed a deadline or something really important that I do get tense up, that I do change what I needed to do and how I go about it. And it does affect the ultimate outcome. What we're seeing now is that there's been a clear notion. He sees it, whether it's been inferred or not, as I said earlier in the show, by the coaching staff. I have a feeling it's been inferred to him behind the scenes. And he clearly said it when it came to media day that he doesn't have a guaranteed spot in the rotation. He knows there's a lot on the line. He needs to go out and grab it by the horns, as they say, and really take command of it. And so far, he's tried. The effort's there. The execution, unfortunately, isn't, and ultimately, that's going to be what determines whether or not he starts off. He starts off in the rotation come Denver.
Yeah, absolutely, Gerald. There's a saying in the military: "Slow is fast, and fast is steady." So that's kind of what Christie has to adopt here: is that do ever progress through your reads, progress through your development, the film you've watched, and we know Gerald that he wants it. Like Gerald has said, the effort is definitely there. It's the consistency. It's he's got to be in the gym with like 2,000 shots after practice, Gerald, because we saw Torian Prince was, as Nick said, was butter. He was butter on those catch and shoots against Sacramento, and Max Christie was given a couple of the same opportunities Torian had. He just couldn't make them,
Yeah.
and that's where we want to see it, and that's all Gerald is asking from Jalen Hood Shafino as well, and think about this, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen Max progress as a shooter. Me and Gerald, we want to see that from Jalen Hood Shafino as well, but it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened yet. There aren't any signs of that. And as we know, Gerald, because of the expansion and the growth of the G League, now teams are able to stash either 1 or 2 year players in the G League. And my question to you is, do you expect before opening night to see Jalen Hood Schifino and Maxwell Lewis assigned to South Bay Lakers?
It's in their best interest. If I was really, what, I don't care about the kid's ego at this point in time. He's got to take it as a learning tool and a learning lesson. I'm going to say you didn't cut it right now. Maxwell Lewis playing a little bit better, but still, you're right now not even the odd man out in this rotation. With Maxwell Lewis, you're really the odd man out in this equation. So is JHS. Both these guys need lots of reps. They're not going to help your team now unless there's injury. And if that's the case, if Maxwell Lewis and JHS are playing rotation minutes, that does not bode well for your present. Might help your future with them getting some minutes, but really they need a ton of minutes and a ton of rotations and a ton of handling the ball, ton of usage at the South Bay Lakers, G League level, because they're not going to get it playing in the NBA right now. They're not NBA ready players. Yes, he scored. Maxwell Lewis started to play well, got a couple dunks. Yes, last game 10 points, really starting to play a little bit better. But this comes out of what after we've saw bad performance after bad performance after bad performance. He's just starting to see the light. Instead of just sitting him back on on the bench continuously, you need to go ahead and make sure he plays and gets 20, 25, 30 minutes a game at the G League level in order to go ahead and advance his career. The two-way guys, Demoy Hodge is going to get 30 minutes down in the G League. Colin Castleton's going to get 30 minutes in the G League. Alex Fudge needs 30 minutes in the G League right now, but also JHS and Maxwell Lewis. That would be the starting five in the G League right now in order to go ahead and grow them for the future. Because again, when you have one of the deepest rosters in the NBA, and you have a guy like Max Christie who played so well in the summer, looking like he's the odd man out. You have Cam Reddish that so many people were high on, not me, but so many people were high on, who's probably going to be the other odd man out. That's 12 guys if you include those guys right there. Then you get to finally the draft picks and what's going on there. It's just in their best interest to go ahead and make sure they get the time they need at where they need it most.
Yeah, absolutely, Gerald, and I agree 100%. Again, with the Podfather and fellow panelists, that yeah, there's that 12, and then it's just it was nice to see that, and hopefully it continues that Maxwell Lewis turned a corner. He really has. Different haircut too, which was nice to see. Maybe that helped turn things around. You never know.
You never know.
It's worked in the past. But yeah, it's out still. I said it, and I think Gerald and other most Laker fans would agree. Lewis is the outline of a good player, but Gerald's right. He just needs more development,
You
more
need minutes. You need reps at that
and
age.
and
You need
you need definitely guidance about what you need to do in the weight room and what how you need to go about recovery, and you're not going to have the same kind of attention, like Jared was saying, in the NBA that you will in the G League, where you're able to be focused and honed in on skill development and what you need to do to make it in the show. And Gerald, as luck would have it, um, they're both signed to 4-year contracts. So we're in a Rob put himself in a beneficial position for both those players and the Lakers because he's able to stash them in the G League for a season.
and
To go
well,
ahead.
that's well. No, I'm going to say Alan brought up a very good question, and I do want to compliment him on it. He says, "My real question is Vando. If Prince is real, then what's his role?" And you saw me as I was one of the big supporters of Vando in the starting lineup until this recent outburst by Torian Prince, where I saw that he can play. He will still will have trouble guarding the most elite of threes. There's just absolutely no question about it. But if he can guard the average three or below and shoot from the outside like he can, he provides something as far as drawing away the defense that Vando doesn't. Everybody says, okay, Vando, he's out on the floor. Go ahead, do your thing. We don't care. If you get anything for them, oh, well, that's fine. For the Lakers, it's like it really stands out. And Alan's question is if Vando is not going to be in that starting lineup, then what does that say for Vando and his role ultimately on the team? Because again, he is not a great fit coming off the bench as far as what fit is. He's going to be a specialty player, could be someone that could see 10 minutes one night, 30 minutes the next.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be that kind of. It's like I'm not sure how to describe it other than he'll be like a box of chocolate player. Like you never know what you're gonna get with the minutes. Like it's a box of chocolates. Like Gerald was saying, it could be 8 minutes one night, and then he'll have to play 30 the next night because they're either playing
Defense.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're either playing Luca on a back to back, or Booker on a back to back, and you just need him to kind of stem their offensive momentum just a little bit, or try and stifle it if he can, because he's been known to stifle a team's primary option. Gerald, that shouldn't be ignored as well. Although the shooting is suspect, everybody knows it. It's like rubber stamped all over a scouting report, Gerald, about Jared Vanderbilt.
They're going to challenge him to
Shooting is
shoot anytime
suspect.
he's out
Shooting
there.
is suspect. Yes, make him shoot. Make him beat you. But he's also a weapon defensively, and like Gerald was saying, it's like a juggling act. It's based upon the matchup, and you're gonna need that.
Out. Do want to go ahead and mention in the ESPN latest top 100 players that's out there. Huh. Going to go ahead and actually pop up the top 24 for everyone out there. So in that, I want to go ahead and mention that LeBron James and Anthony Davis were part of the top 100 mentioned right there. And in doing so, they were placed with LeBron James ninth and Anthony Davis 10th. Your thoughts on this, my friend? Before I say mine, LeBron, number 9, AD, number 10, heading into ESPN's top 100 for this year, 2023-24. Fair or not so fair for LeBron and AD in the ESPN top 100 players?
Fair, fair. I
Okay.
think I think there is a clear top eight, top eight
Mhm.
in the NBA, and then I believe that the last two slots could be argued for or against. If you're going to argue for AD and LeBron, I wouldn't argue against it. If you're going to not argue for them, I wouldn't necessarily argue against that either. Being looking at it, I included one of them in my top 10. The other one just missed the cut a little bit, but I mean, when you think about the top 10 players in the NBA jail, there are a handful of ones that are fantastic that you'd have to leave out. So, um, LeBron made my top 10. LeBron made my top 10. I will go through my top 10 list right now.
Okay.
Number one is Nikola Jokic, the Joker.
Okay.
Number two is Giannis.
Okay.
Number three is Joel Embiid.
Okay.
Number four is Steph Curry. Number five is Jason Tatum. Number six is Luka Doncic. Number seven is KD. Number eight is Shea Gilgis Alexander. Number nine is Zion Williamson. And number 10 is LeBron James.
I would say you're a little high on Zion until he really can play 82 games or close to it. If you can get to 65, 70 games, then you're probably going to see him being one of the top 10 players in the NBA. So I can understand why you did it. Just if you're using that same reasoning for Anthony Davis on why he's not in the top 10, I would say the same thing applies for Zion, especially. But, you could say even the same thing for KD as well. But I think that that's mostly a fair assessment on your top 10. Uh, Let me say this, though. I do think that Nikola Jokic should be the number one player in the league. I'm surprised that ESPN has him ranked number two behind Giannis. I think that was not, it's a little bit unfair in that case because, the guy won a championship and was clearly showing out to be the best player. While Giannis, he couldn't take his team. He did get injured, but he couldn't take his team into past the first round. And you saw that there. And how you still make him number one is still quite baffling. Then you've got Joel Embiid at number three. You've got, according to them, Luka Doncic at number four. Steph Curry at five. You've got Jason Tatum at six, Kevin Durant at seven. Then you've got SGA, LeBron, and AD. I personally think, although Adam says LeBron's underrated on the list, I personally think that that's a good spot for LeBron. I was actually surprised they actually kept him in the top 10. Reason why is because obviously the first thing they'll point to is his age. That's probably what they'll first look at as far as it's concerned. But I still think he is plays like the top 10 player in the league like he can. I think that's what can go on for this rest of this team for the rest of the season. So I see that at 9 as being a fair. I think that's being a fair evaluation of him, especially in the fact that he will be in his 39-year season here by the end of the year. AD, I think, is also fair. The reason why is he just needs to be on the court. He's on the court and plays like he did in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. He is one of the top 5 players in the league. But the problem is he's not consistent enough, as we saw even in the playoffs, and also not on the floor enough to go ahead and say, hey, he's clearly a top 5 player in this league. So I bring it back to you, my friend, before we head it on out, and to ask you one more time as far as with LeBron and AD. I mean, seeing them at the back end of the top 10, you would have gotten us mad in years past. I don't think it gets us this mad anymore.
Yeah, no, not at all, Gerald. I just think, in the past 3 years, one, two, three of those guys have really come up and exerted themselves as top 10 players, and it that's just the way this rolls. Is that Father Time is undefeated, and Phil Jackson said it: basketball is a young man's game. And Shea's been coming up, Jason Tatum. You also have Luca. Those 3 guys have really asserted themselves as blue chippers, building blocks, and
Yep, Anthony Edwards. You're going to have
and
Wembanyama. You're going to have those guys
they're
coming up.
right there. Like, yeah, you also have Devin Booker possibly in the
Mhm.
top 15, and Gerald said you'd have to leave out Zion or AD. Potentially, another player that you never know might sneak in there and have kind of a renaissance season is a Cat. You might have to put Cat in the top 15 at the end of the year, depending on how Minnesota goes and what kind of season he has. So, I mean, man, the amount of just quality depth that the NBA has, and Gerald, of that top like 10, what we have there, you have one, two, three, four, five. About 5 of those players are international players: Jokic, Giannis, Shea, Luca, and I'm missing somebody. Gerald, help me out here.
Embiid.
Embiid, yes, excuse me. Though, so
Although
5
he
inter.
is an American, you see
Yeah,
what you got.
so we can't say that anymore. He's an American now. So 4 international players
Yes.
in the top 10, which is, I mean, if you had asked probably even the biggest Hooper about 20 years ago, Sean and Gerald, in 20 years, 4 or 5 of the top 10 NBA players will be born outside of the United States.
Well,
We both,
five
yeah,
of the top
yeah,
10.
5 out of and we both would have said, "You're get out of here, no chance." Here we are. I
Here
mean,
we are.
it's really become a global game. Um, it's fantastic to see, Gerald. And I will say this: is there a player out there right now who has the potential for a breakout season that vaunts themselves into the top 10? Or do you see the basically that top 8 as fluid, Gerald?
I think it's always fluid because, like you mentioned Zion. If Zion blows up like he did that one year, of course he's right back in the swing of things right there. If the Pelicans start going up higher in the food chain, you talked about what Booker, if he leads the Phoenix Suns and becomes the best player on that team, how can you not get him into the top 10? There are other players as well. Tyrese Halliburton, we didn't even mention. Anthony
Oh,
Edwards, we did mention. So, if those players break out like they're often expected to by so many other people that have been watching them, they could be or have a claim in the top 10. So basically, right now, it's a nice list. Again, I'm putting LeBron and AD 9 and 10. I think is by ESPN. I think that's a solid move. So I don't have any real issue with it. I really don't, because the fact that LeBron again at 38, him still being in the top 10. How many 38-year-olds actually were still in the top 10 in the NBA at that age? Not too many, and the list is not that long. So we'll see what happens. But before we head on out, my friend Alan had a question in regards to Hayes and Woods. They will play. He's asking if they will play together, or does Ham have to make a choice? Can they both and Vando play with LeBron? It won't be pretty if that's the case. My guess is that when LeBron goes to the bench, if Rui's already been introduced into the game already, then I'd probably say I would probably guess Wood is coming in for LeBron, and then when AD, or actually I'm sorry, I'd probably say Hayes is coming in for LeBron to provide a Hayes AD maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes right there. And then to start the second quarter, you bring in Christian Wood to play a good 7, 8 minute stretch there. Or even if you want him to put him in the tail end of the first quarter, I'll let you go ahead and do that as well. But, I see both of those guys getting about 15 to 20 minutes a game. There's a portion of it they will play together, but I think you stagger them in at first. I don't think you do the hockey thing like we've seen in the exhibition season so far.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that, Gerald. I do. I agree with that. I don't think they should be hockey line change as we've seen. I agree, and I think that's a very good point, Alan, because there are going to be minutes, unfortunately, where I think we have a couple or three guys who get into an ISO, hypno, techno version of themselves, Gerald, on the court and just forget to run within the rhythm of the offense. And, you know, I think if you have a Jackson Hayes and a Christian Wood out there together, yeah, it doesn't mix well, especially considering that if you do in a pinch have to use, say, a Hayes and a Wood together, then you have to make sure that you have at least another shooter. I would say two more shooters shadowing those two, along with an AD and a LeBron, because there's just going to be a buffer there. Like Jared's already mentioned that there needs to kind of be a buffer if you're going to sprinkle in Hayes and Wood together there.
Yep. I agree, my friend. And great thoughts by our chat, by Darren, by Alan. Great thoughts right there from everyone out there. It is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Gerald Glassford along with Magic Man Sean Grice. Thanks so much for watching, listening. Truly appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow. Great thoughts by Adam as well, and our entire chat, the best Lakers chat room that's out there, the Lakers Fast Break, Lakers in 5. Salute to you as well. Truly appreciate everyone stopping by to go ahead and check out our thoughts on the snack pack today. But we'll be back tomorrow. Playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break for the Lakers at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. They're headed up against the Warriors at the Crypt. Maybe LeBron will play. We don't know yet. I'll tweet that out at Lakers Fast Break once I get the word on what the lineup will be. But definitely looking forward to hearing your thoughts out there on whether or not you're liking what you're seeing. But we'll see who plays tomorrow on Friday. I do know that with Giannis and Damian Lillard playing on Sunday, that I think that LeBron's going to make it a point to go ahead and try there. But Magic Man, tomorrow, 7 p.m. against the Warriors. Then, of course, the best Lakers post game that's out there is the Lakers Fast Break. Any last thoughts, my friend, before we head on out?
Gerald, we have the best chat in the not only the entire Lakers community, I feel the entire NBA community, and I do a lot of scanning, like Gerald. I not only pay attention to
I'm
our
scanning right now.
our direct competition, but I also pay attention to what other channels on other teams. What's their participation like with their fans? And I feel that we have the best synergy amongst all the communities out there, and we're just getting started. This is just the start of this brilliant community that's started from a little seed that one podfather Gerald Glassford started, and now it's grown into onward and upward over
I
a
want to.
thousand, and
Yep, yep.
keep going.
Big shout out to our Facebook community who is growing back by leaps and bounds in the past couple post games. So truly appreciate it. You're actually at this point doing as well, if not better on some occasions, than our YouTube channel. So YouTube, got to get back in the swing of things. We're back. Lakers basketball is back. Got to go ahead and catch us up here. Go ahead and see if you can get there. And again, if you do like what you see, please hit the little Joe right there in the corner, right below Sean. Won't scare you, I promise, with the beady eyes. Click on Joe Soros' face right there. That way you're subscribed. And when you're subscribed, you get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air or we have a show coming up in the not too distant future, like tomorrow, our post game, after, of course, our great playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break live watch party of the Lakers and Warriors. Hang out with us there, then hang out with us here after, right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. Have a great evening, everyone. Stay safe.